I'm Adam Bishop, I'm 32 years old, I live in Greyshot in England, and I'm the reigning Britain's Strongest Man. So we're in Sheffield this weekend for Britain's Strongest Man. It's been a long time coming. Last time we had Britain's Strongest Man was in January 2020. We're now in October 2021, so it's been a long time. Obviously with the situation going on in the world, it wasn't possible to get this show done earlier. But yeah, we're here. We've got a bizarre situation where we've got the world's strongest man, we've got Europe's strongest man, we've got Britain's strongest man, we've got a former Britain's strongest man, all competing in the same show. I don't think that's actually happened before. All different people, all competing in the same show. So the lineup's incredible. We've come to the end of a crazy season with Strongman, with so many great shows kind of packed into a short amount of time. So we're all a bit beat up, but everyone wants to have that Britain's Strongest Man title, and competing with the big boys. Hicksy coming back after not competing in 2020, the 2019 champion. Obviously Luke's on a roll. He's got one Europe's Strongest Man, one up in Glasgow as well in the first show in Scotland. He's performing really well. Obviously Tom's Tom. He won the biggest title in the sport. World's Strongest Man. So it's going to be a fascinating show, and I think it's going to be a dogfight from start to finish. I think it's going to be about who makes a mistake and whose mistake kind of really costs them. If you can make a mistake but still pick up some good points, it's going to be very beneficial for you. But if loads of people get in between you and the top guys in an event, it could proper scupper some chances. So yeah, I'm expecting an absolute dogfight, a good old-fashioned dust-up with these guys. And it's going to be one hell of a show. So obviously I started Strongman back in 2010. Started off as a under 105 weight category strongman, like a middleweight if you're American. And then progressed up from there. Competed at World's Strongest Man in 2015. But I went for a long time without winning any shows at all. I made that step up. So I think the last show I won before Britain's last year was actually South Coast Strongest Man in 2013 in a car park. And once you kind of step up to the big boy leagues, it's tougher to get those wins. So there's a lot of graft, a lot of kind of chasing that podium place. A couple of the near misses, getting second in 2019 behind Hicksy, just missing the podium in 2018 on count back to Terry Hollands. Would have been third there. And obviously then building up to that win in 2020. So yeah, a lot of graft, a lot of years of no trophies. Little success and kind of keeping the faith and just building towards getting that top victory at Britain's Strongest Man 2020. So first and foremost, I think of myself as an athlete. We're in the sports entertainment business, and some guys are more entertaining than they are sportsmen, and some are more sportsmen rather than entertaining. And for me, I'm an athlete. I've always been an athlete. I do this. I do this if we were doing it in pub car parks with no one watching. I just love competing. I love seeing the personal progression of getting stronger. Of seeing the kind of results of my training. But now that we're in these massive arenas, it's even sweeter. We get to compete against huge crowds, see how it affects people's lives, how much motivation we give to people. But I love this sport so much because I'm motivated by seeing what we can push the human body to do. For a lot of people, it might be seeing who's the fastest man in the world. But for me, chasing kind of being the strongest man in the world is that ultimate goal for me. So Britain's Strongest Man actually came in quite soon after World's Strongest Man, I believe, in terms of when it was put on as a TV show, and it ran for a lot of years. Obviously, most people remember Jeff Capes winning the title, but other champions, in more recent years, obviously Gary Taylor, Jamie Reeves, who went on to win World's Strongest Man. Then you've got Terry Hollands winning the title, Lawrence Charlot winning the title twice. These kind of huge names. It did take a little bit of a hiatus after 2008, and then came back in 2012. With the competition being put on by Giants Live again. And then in recent years, it's been dominated by Eddie Hall, taking those 5 titles. But then once Eddie stepped away and Hicksy got his title and I took second, it was a natural progression for me to get onto the top of that podium for my year as well, and to kind of have my name at the top of winning Britain's Strongest Man with all those kind of great athletes, your Capes, your Jamie Reeves, like Terry Hollands, Eddie Halls, was pretty special to me. So event 1 is the Circus dumbbell medley. It's 80 kilos going up to 120 kilos. This is going to be a crunch event for all of us really. There's a lot of unknowns. We've got a brand new set of dumbbells. A lot of the guys haven't tried them before, so we'll have to see how we go with that. But from a personal point of view, The dumbbell, Circus dumbbell, is a good overhead event for me. Traditionally, pressing events have been a weakness of mine, but I've been putting in a load of work, and Circus dumbbell actually suits me quite well. So I'll be looking forward to this one and getting a good start out of the blocks. So obviously, you've got your stronger pressers, Hicksy and Luke Stoltman. Tom's very good on dumbbell. He's a bigger guy as well. I know Paul Smith's been training his dumbbell pretty hard as well. So, it's an interesting one. Like with Circus dumbbell, it can be very technical. It doesn't necessarily mean that the strongest static presser is going to win it. So it'll be interesting to see how Hicksy's technique is, how Luke's technique is on that dumbbell, and whether it's going to translate over to a good performance. Event 2 is the 400 kilo super yoke. For me, it's a great event. I've been fast on yokes before. I'm looking forward to placing well in that. The guys I need to watch out for is Hicksy's really rapid on the yoke, Tom and Luke as well. So the usual suspects will be good on this one. I think sub 10 seconds will be needed to take the win on this one. It's going to be a fast and furious event, and make sure you get a clear run. So event 3 is the 350 kilo axle deadlift for reps. It's a favourite event of mine. I haven't lost a deadlift for reps for a long time. It's one of the events I'm looking to really pick up some points on. But guys to look out for. Hicksy's been deadlifting really well on the axle recently. Obviously Tom's strong on the deadlift. Paro Dwyer as well is another good deadlifter. Shane Flowers on the newbies. I know he's a solid deadlifter as well. So there's some guys there to put in some performances, but the deadlift is my event to win. I think for me, my body shape's kind of really suited to a posterior chain pull. So what I mean is obviously the muscles in my like lower back, hamstrings, glutes. From my kind of rugby playing days, I was like very much like a strength and power athlete when it comes to sprinting. So I had strong hamstrings, strong glutes, a strong back. So it kind of really suits me to how I pull. Now you see, like myself and Hicksy have got very, very different pulls, just because we're different body shapes. Hicks is a little bit shorter, so he needs to get a lot more quad into the movement. But for me, I can use hamstring and back a lot more. And I think the fact I've trained it with the system I use to train it is always going to give me an advantage when it comes to deadlift for reps. I think 10 reps will be good enough for the win on this one. We've got to remember this is the third event in. We've already done a dumbbell medley and done a super yoke. So for me, 10 reps will be enough to win the deadlift for reps. So the deadlift is heavier than last year. It's 20 kilos heavier. It might be the same bar, but it's weighted up. But it's the same deadlift that they used at Europe's Strongest Man. So we've got some idea of what people are going to hit from looking back and seeing the footage there. Event 4, loading medley, 4 implements. We're starting off with an anchor, which needs to be run across and dropped next to skips. And then you've got a 110 kilo sack, 150 kilo barrel, and a 100 kilo tire, all to be run down the course and loaded into the sack, into these skips. It's going to be a fast and furious event, and it's all about kind of who could move quickly and who's going to blow out on this one. So, I mean, if you look back to last time we had this event, Britain's last year, it was kind of between myself, Tom and Luke. That was the 1, 2, 3, with Tom getting the win there. I just want to know, is he put on too much body weight? I think it's going to be a fast event, and I think my conditioning and my lighter body weight is going to give me the edge on this one. I think it's about focusing on this one and staying, concentrating. It's very easy to lose concentration and kind of just jog back for each implement, but you are fastest when you're unloaded, so you need to be sprinting back for each bit of kit, and that's where I think I'm going to get the edge on some of the guys. Is working really hard and sprinting back and trusting my conditioning, but we'll be fine on the day and getting all those implements in as fast as I can. Yeah, I mean, I've got an advantage in the fact that I've done all these implements before. I've done plenty of the shows. There's some guys coming in who haven't touched these implements before, especially the anchor. So I tried to give some guys some of the advice. I think with a loading race, it's very easy to overthink things. Think about your technique with certain things. Sometimes you just got to grip it and rip it and not think about it. When we were up at the yard training, some of the guys were kind of standing around just staring at implements, not knowing what to do with it. Most of the time, these implements aren't going to be heavy for us. They're just awkward. If you kind of go at them half-assed, they'll bury you. So it's about just attacking every single implement as hard as you can and not really kind of overthinking it. So event 5 is the Atlas Stones. We finish up with a classic event. It's 100 kilos to 180 kilos, so the light set. It's going to be fast, it's going to be furious. Obviously, it's a strong event for Tom. He holds the world record, but if history tells us anything, mistakes can be made. Look what happened at Glasgow. And something else to remember is we've got a lot of guys here who have been sub 19 seconds on this set of stones. Myself, I think Luke's been sub 19. Andy Black as well is a great stone lifter. So, you're going to have to go all out. And if you make a mistake, as I well know, making a mistake at Europe's Strongest Man in 2020 on that kind of 4th stone, suddenly it can really cost you big points. So it's going to be a crux event, and we're kind of really going to have to be on our A game to be able to get a good result on it. Yeah, I managed to do a little moonwalk with a 180 stone, so I'll be looking to rectify that around this time. Just got my balance off with that 180. I picked it, my hand placement was a little bit forward, which meant the stone started to roll on me. I could have dropped it or tried to hold on to it, so I tried to hold on to it, and obviously the only way to kind of keep the balance is to move myself around it. That's why I did a little shuffle backwards. So yeah, better than dropping it though. It's going to be so tough to predict. It's going to be a real tight show. I think 4 of us are going to be battling it out, and I think I've done enough in training to put me on the top of that podium. It's I'm the champ. They've got to try and knock me out if they want to win it. But both the Stolten brothers are fantastic athletes. Hicksy's coming back looking fit and strong. So I think between the 4 of us, it's going to be battling out for those 3 places on the podium. Yeah, I mean, I like being Britain's Strongest Man. I'm not ready to give it up. So for me, it's a great title. It means a lot. So I do tend to focus on this show quite heavily. I've kind of structured my training towards it. It's been a little bit tougher this year because we've had a lot of shows before it. But I've put the work in to really focus on this one, and it's the end of the season for me, so we can go all out, and then I get a little bit of a rest after this. I think it's difficult. I mean, in terms of prestige, I actually think it's probably one behind Worlds. Yes, obviously it's not as big a pool in terms of athletes as Europe's, but I mean, if you look back at the champions from Britain's Strongest Man, it's probably just there behind World's Strongest Man. It's not taking anything away from what Luke achieved at all, but I think most people will want that Britain's Strongest Man title because you want to be a national champion. That's kind of a really big thing. So yeah, I mean, after World's Strongest Man, for me, Britain's Strongest Man's the biggest title. I plan to be performing at my best every single Britain's Strongest Man I do. I can't control what other guys do. I can't control what Luke or Tom or Hicksy does, but I know that I'll always want to give my A game for Britain's Strongest Man. It's a special contest for me, and kind of behind Worlds is the one I like to focus on. So yeah, every single year I'm here, I'll be giving my all and trying to win that title.